Since our chief guest has already arrived, we are going to commence our function at this moment. And may I have the prison band to, and all of us let us stand for the matter.
Praise be to thee, the cherished and sustain of the worlds. Thank you, Lord, for having allowed us to be in attendance of this great moment and assembly. We pray, Almighty God, that your blessings and mercy and guidance be descended upon us so that we may fruitfully gain out of this memorable day. In your great name we pray.
Amen.
May I have the religious leader to pray? Reverend Canon.
Father, in the same name that my brother has prayed, we want to thank you for this wonderful function. You created the universe. It was chaotic. The first day during your creation, you said, let there be order. And you created light because there was a lot of darkness. And we know that corruption as an evil exists, operates in darkness. And since you are able to defeat darkness in the whole world by creating light, and since you are the light of the world, we know, my Father, that you are able to help us as citizens of this country to defeat this monster that exists, that operates in darkness, called corruption. Father, we want to thank you for our elders who are here. We thank you for our chief guest, the Second Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs. We want to thank you for our ministers who are here. We want to thank you for all people who are here, big and small. We are here for a cause. Our presence is not accidental. We have come for a purpose, to showcase, to show the world, to show the citizens, my Father, that as Ugandans, we are ready to defeat corruption as a monster. We thank you this day, my Father. We ask for your blessings and for your favor. Bless us and protect us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Slow down a bit. We need to face the banner.
Where is Jane? Oh, she's there. I thought you had disappeared.
Abasanga yeyo
Most welcome back. Please go back to your seat where you were seated before we left. Alliance High School. Take your banner where there's a picture with the guest of honor. Hurry up there. Placards. Take your banners where there's the guest of honor behind. They're taking pictures. In front where the band is playing. There. You see? All these banners, we need to see them there. Please hurry up. It's about.
and many other members, PPDA, what they have been doing, they are actually, that's to showcase that this country has not been asleep in the fight against corruption. The books have been written. The materials are there for display, for reading and internalizing. It's up to individual citizens of this country, men and women.
But as I said, the members are from Inspectorate of Government, and I request Inspectorate of Government members to put up their arms. Stronger, you will. And I request members from DPDA. Come on, come on. Very good. Auditor General. Lapsnet. Yes, he's here. The other fellows will join him in Mbarara. Day. The team is bigger than this, our dear chief guest, but as I said, some of the members are putting on the last bits and fixing the last tuning and so on and so forth. So, members, we are, I think as you can see, the chief guest is ready to flag us off. And may I, from the vehicle, we have that big vehicle, as I said, it is our flagship. As soon as we feel in Masaka and you see that vehicle, you know the anti-corruption caravan or crusade has arrived. The anti-corruption campaign is in town. If you are in Ibanda, no, at long last, the anti-corruption campaign is in Ibanda, Fort Porto and Mubende, and we will end up in Mubende. As the PS said, that should take us 4 days. What are we doing there? The activities have been mentioned. boardroom sessions and radio programs and so on and so forth, and barazas, and talking to the people. What we are doing, we're also going to do spot checks. Don't ask me what those are and where they will take place. Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the Minister of State for Ethics to lead the chief guest to come and do this historic event in the struggle against corruption, together accompanied by the heads of the institutions that are here. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the dignitaries are present here, we wish that you accompany the chief guest to flag us off. Once again, my name is Wereza Jose Jules, Director of Education and Prevention, Inspectorate of Government. And we are going to the van.
I like that one.
You off. Wow. And I give the flag to the IGG and over the crusade. Thank you.
Okay, Senator.
I like that one.
Do you document those excesses that have been offloaded?
The ones which are offloaded?
Yes, the
Because
excesses.
what we do, we weigh the truck which was impounded. If it passes, that one goes.
It has two, and of course in Uganda, they have the one of- and then yes, and then the two means the grouping.
The grouping, yeah.
Okay, that's why there is one, and then here there are two. Where you find 2, those are 3. And instead, okay? Now, we check for a number of things. One of them is axolot, how much weight on a single axolot, or gross. And now, for example here, you see we measured gross is 21, 22, but the maximum axolot is 6. So it's okay. Then when I come to axolot, group 1 is okay, group 2 is okay, so there's nothing here. That's why overload here is 0. So there is okay. Just print it. Then it goes. I did explain to him. What happens is, if it's extra, if it's actually small, let's say 1 and big one actually followed the other, you can and then if it's too much, there are procedures of penalty for offense. You impound the restrictions. When the overload is impounded,
We are under massacre. So sometimes on a daily basis, we go there for some other official.
So can we look at some of those data reports that you make? You go to mine, that's some.
So you're Mr. Peka Samba, Ivan.
Look at some.
Seka Samba Aiza.
I mean, at the end of the day, after the exercise, we give us some
Now, why we are here is that we want to find on the ground what are the service delivery challenges here. Some of the service delivery challenges are a result of loopholes which are being exploited. And you know, when there are loopholes, this can become the source of corruption.
Kakati ekimanyi nkeno anti-corruption week twagitandise leero mu Kampala ate drive tugireeta ku country n'okutandika neerukayo twagala turabe kiki ekikwakuweebukiwa ba drivers balina complaints ki system eno eyawana ekora etya erino olukozi eziyinza okuleeta corruption olugenzi oba nene.
Uganda lyerimu ku mawanga bw'otunuulira okunoonyeza okuzze kukolebwa ekitongole kya Transparency International ekyo kikola kulwanyisa nguzi mu nsi yonna kyakola okunoonyereza era nekifulumya alipoota yaakyo mu mwaka guno mwezi ndowooza gwali gwa 8 ng'eraga nti Uganda lyerimu ku mawanga agasinga okubeera obubi ennyo bannansi baago nga batulugunyizibwa embeera ey'obulyake mu bitongole n'okusingira ddala ebya gavumenti wano mu ggwanga lyattu erya Uganda. Era batugamba nti mu bitongole bya gavumenti bw'obanga otandise okugendayo nti ogenda kunoonyayo mirimu kintu kidogo ateekwa okubaawo naddala nga gwe munnayuganda agenda okusabayo omulimu tolinaayo akumanyi. Kale nno embeera eyo yesinze okukyankalanya ebitongole bya gavumenti n'ebitongole ebirala oba oliawo. Bingi mu bitongole ettaka eyo obulyake buyitirivu nnyo. Bw'ogenda mu bitongole na bino byennyini eby'obwannakyewa olaba naye eriyo obulyake. Naye kale nno bwe tuba nga mu kiseera kino nga wiiki eno yakulwanyisa bukenuzi akawungeezi akonaku olwayo nga bwe tuzze tubagamba olunaku lwonna tugenda kubeera n'abakulu okuva mu bitongole ebya gavumenti ebyenjawulo n'okusingira ddala ekitongole kya Ssaabatunuulizi w'ebitabo bya gavumenti yakola ennyo okulondoola ebitongole bya gavumenti n'atubuulira kino kikoze kitya kino kikoze kitya kino kikoze kitya ate eriyo ne kaliisoliiso wa gavumenti naye alengera ebintu naawe tokoze bulungi n'ebirala bingi so nga era waliyo n'ekitongole kye bayita Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority. Ekyo kikola kugwa kulaba nga ebintu bya gavumenti ebirimu engeri gye kibitundamu oba gye kibigabamu bwe bityo. Tubalina abakulu wano tulina mukyala Sylvia ono mwogezi w'ekitongole ekyo ekya Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority oba PPDA. Mwami Maxwell Paul Ogentho naye avudde mu kitongole ekya Auditor General naye atunuulira ensonga eza gavumenti. Ne mukyala Pole Muhaire ava mu kitongole ekyo kya Inspector Mwami Pole Muhaire ava mu kitongole ekya kaliisoliiso wa gavumenti oba IG. Waliwo ne mukyala Dina Nabirye oyo nno weeno mu bendobendo lyaffe ery'e Masaka naye nga naye ava mu kitongole ekyo ekya IG. Kansabe mukyala Kirabo abuuze kubatuuliriza ate atubuulire n'ekitongole kye mwava biki bye kikola lwaki bannayuganda bandibadde bakyettanira.
Neeyanziza nnyo omukulu Kasim abawuliriza baffe ababuladde fama tubabuuzizaako mwebale tuwuliriza. Erinnya lyange nze Kirabo Sylvia ng'omukulu we yanyanyuddeko emabegaawo nze ayogerera ekitongole kya PPDA Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, ekitongole ekyokuntiiko ekirondoola engeri gavumenti gyegula ne gyegaba emigabo gyabyo oba katugambe ffe abalondoola tenders kyekigambo ekimanyikiddwa nnyo mu bantu baffe aba bulijjo. Ffe tulambika tenda zitambula zitya abazigaba batya ekitongole kya PPDA.
Mwami Ogentho, Director. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, listeners. Good evening. I'm unable to speak Luganda. You forgive me for that.
Yes, waliwo mwami Faruku Eruderi ajja tuyambako mu kufunza ebigambo by'omukulu. Omukulu olulimi Oluganda eno lunabuddu lumusumbuwasumbuwa. Yes, you can go.
Thank you very much. I represent Office of the Auditor General, and as you know, Office of Auditor General is mandated by the Parliament, or let me say the Constitution, to help government to find out that the funds that are, voted every year for delivery of services for the welfare of our citizens, when government collects this money, uses it, at the end of the year, has the money been used for the purpose? Now, Auditor General has the technical knowledge to establish, and that is what we do, look at it, and we are able to report to the Parliament and of course to the citizens of Uganda whether the funds have been used to exactly do what it was intended in the budget. And the process, there are a number of findings we have. Some of them support that the money have been used well for the purpose. Some others find that the monies were not used for the purpose. Thank you.
Yeah, kakati mwami Maxwell Ogenso, director mu kitongole kya OAG, ekirondoola ebitabo bya gavumenti, yagambye nti ekitongole ekyo kyaweebwa olukusa mu constitution ya Uganda okulondoola ebitongole bya gavumenti okulaba nti ssente ezibiweebwa zikola omulimu ogwo gwennyini gwezabiweebwa ebitongole bya gavumenti. Nga ekitongole kitunuulira ebitabo by'ebitongole ebyo era n'agamba nti mulimu ebitongole ebikola omulimu ogwo gwennyini ate waliwo ebitongole nga ssente tezibikozeseza bulungi. Era n'agamba nti bakola report buli mwaka eri palamenti ne badebatinga report ya Auditor General eyo ne muvaamu ensonga ze bagoberera.
Webali nnyo mwami Ogenso, katugende wa mwami Pole Muhairwe.
Pole Muhairwe, the director wa Webitundu office babita ebyanga
Bajitan
ebitundu tuna.
Okay.
Webitundu. The director Webitundu tuna regional offices mu Gwanga 16 in number. Ate nzazi kurira mu office ya Kariso wa government. Mumanyi office eno Rwanda Senguzi ubukenuzi mu Gwanga ate nekora nebera ne ombudsman oyinzo kumwita umutabaganya umutabaganya w'abantu ni government.
Okay.
Gamba abantu ba inzo kubanga barana mu rubunya sasa government sasa de pension yite sasa de salary bambi nze ku murimo bwebitya. So office eno nabye ebikorako.
Kale webali nnyo mwami Muhairwe. Mchala Dina owene waffe Masaka boza ku bantu bategeere nti
amanya bampita Dina Nabirye balamusiza nnyo abawulirize ba Buladde FM nga nze akiikirira Kalisoliiso mu districts zonna ezaava mu Masaka ziri 9.
Office yo abantu bamanyi weeri?
Office yaffe eri mu Masaka mwennyini wakati ku kizimbe kya National Water naye ffe tutuula waggulu.
Okay. Webali nnyo. Amplize dakika 15 zezise ku ssaawa emu kampumulemu katono nnyo n'obubaka buno tugenda kudda abakulu bano batubuulire lwaki webali wano akawungezi akaleero.
Ensonga kubanga tetusobola kutuuka mu bitundu byonna kati bwe babeera bazze okuva e Kalangala ne mujja okuva e Sembabule abavudde eri Antonde Kalungu Lwengo mwenna tubayita mu offices zaffe e Masaka mujje mutubuulire ebibaluma Kalisoliiso wa gavumenti byasobola okukolako.
Babimanyi bye balina okuloopewo.
Nga bwe twagambye obuli bw'enguzi kati tugambe nga mu malwaliro mu Masaka no bwe mba mugenze eddagala gye liri bwe mba mulabanga enguudo zikolebwako eyo mu sub counties gye mutuula bazikola bulungi. Abakozi ba gavumenti bwe bamugenze mu offices gye bali bakola. Mu Masaka tulabye nnyo nti abantu abasinga abatudde mu offices za gavumenti bayina ebipapula ebijingirire. Bw'obanga obamanyi ng'omuntu atudde mu office naye nga mu mazima amatuufu tasaanidde kutula mu office eyo, mujje mutubuulire.
To support some of your actions. I'm looking at the police, for example, the government drivers.
Yes.
You know that there's some government officers who are permitted not to get stuck in the jam through their, you know what I mean. They're government officers. And the government cannot provide for everyone. At the same time, you also know that if you delay, like if an officer like you is delayed somewhere, you know that a number of people, citizens, are going to be affected because they will be waiting for your service. So when they are providing you opportunity to move fast to come, it's not because of you as a person, but they're looking at the citizens who will be denied service because you alone having been delayed somewhere, isn't it? So do we think that these drivers we are referring to as misbehaving are simply being stubborn, or it is based on a similar arrangement that a government officer who is going to serve so many citizens should be given priority just for the purpose of that, so that some solution is arrived at to address this?
Okay.
What is your record of accidents caused by government drivers that can be a concern in terms of their overspeeding or something? I'm not trying to defend, I'm just trying to say that, you know, laws are developed in order to address situations. It is likely that this type of things will continue happening. And you might arrest, if you wanted to, you would arrest almost most of these government drivers. And for reasons that you even yourself know, actually, they should have been given that consideration.
Okay. On our problems. You know, like such an interaction, we get to know, because some of as the supervisors, they're not going to be on the road all the time because of other assignments. But it's good when we interact, we get to know some of the challenges. As you said, we always have Monday parades. It's not for decoration. We always have to discuss how the week was, where was the problem, the challenges, and possibly we get solutions, a way forward, how to overcome all this. So it is very important. Then to do research on our program, we do that because if we have a problem of an individual, we call upon, you know, and we send a team to either to investigate and then comes out with a report. So and so there's a challenge here. Then we solve. That is in management. Then you have talked about the drivers. I mean, special people, you are delayed somewhere. Despite you're a DPC, you are not above what? The law. You are supposed to follow the law. But if you are delayed, of course, there are standards. We have seen these vehicles where some people are in display because he's driving a government vehicle, is a DPC. Yeah, you want to drive on the paveway, and because he's delayed. No, the issue is you must follow the rules. We have certain class of people which we all are aware about, that the Prime Minister and maybe the President Convoy, the Vice President, to mention but a few. These are the exception which can really maybe divert vehicles or stop to allow them to do what? To go. But exception, when you find other people they are putting on siren, we have seen how other vehicles you find they are putting on siren, and because they want no. Unless it's maybe an emergency, it is acceptable. Then the drivers the records we are talking about the records of accident that have been caused by government vehicles. It's unfortunate that we not that your country would have compiled the report.
The Constitution allowed it to be given that opportunity of giving open way. But still, as an officer, you must be an intelligent man on the road. We can assess situation. If you're the RDC, going somewhere, even if you don't have a ready car, you're the first priority. If you're an intelligent officer, that's why our core values as police, those are being intelligent. You can analyze the situation and take a decision. It's not all about that. Only those people who have that, but if you're a teacher, if the woman is a poor woman but is going to deliver,
yes,
is on border, there's a jam. Why can't you just open that one to go and get a service? So we always tell them you must be being professional, not only those people, but even those people who are not having critical, you get communication from our bosses that you are going to have a visitor, like Madam Director is coming that side. So we can. You may not be aware, but we may clear the way before you come. We'll get communication. Yes.
Must confirm what he said. Government drivers are under instructions to obey traffic rules. You know, we manage government drivers. It is not that the driver comes and finds a roadblock and just rushes. It is not true. They are under, and if such a driver is detected, he can be disciplined. So, but what he's saying is that when they stop, you must understand their situation very quickly so that they are able to be given so that they go and do some work which they are supposed to do.
The next question, there is the issue of arrest of suspects. One of the complaints that we received from the public is one, that they are detained beyond the 48 hours. And then also the issue of police bond, whereas it is supposed to be free. We sometimes also receive complaints of people who are actually made to pay police bond when they are detained here before they are released by the police. So I want you to...
Let him answer this.
Okay.
And then maybe as we also answer, we also get issues with people who complain that police, they have to facilitate police to actually be able to do the investigations. Like if you need to go and effect an arrest, then they have to provide the fuel and probably provide the vehicle.
Okay, thank you, madam. With the issue of over-detention in our custody, at first it was there, but currently we have improved. Sometimes not only the blame of police. You see now the public doesn't differentiate police with the director of DPP, where we send file for court. When a suspect is released from court, they will say police. When the state has put a minute, release a suspect, they say police. So we need it now to sensitize the public, to differentiate these three offices. But every blame in the court, they will say police. In the state Anthony, they will say police. But for us as police, like currently right now, the state Anthony on strike for 2 weeks, and the law doesn't provide. At first, police were the ones sanctioning the first. But I don't know over 2000 when it was amended. It is now they decided to set an independent body, government body for that. So right now they're on strike. But we are trying. Okay, we are trying. We go and talk to the magistrate. Right now we are remanding people who have direct evidence. You have stolen a phone. You have got you with a phone. We don't need again a state Uganda and Peru. So we get you and we with good term with the magistrate. We explain this person is arrested under with this exhibit. So we beg let him be remanded. I don't until when the state resume office. But the other cases which are need real advice, like corruption, as you are saying, because now you cannot take someone to court of corruption or causing financial loss to an institution when DPP has not for sure said that yes. So when somebody is there, it can take a week. So it is not all about the police, but other bodies, other offices where we must be referred to. And even the other cases, the other like capital offenses, somebody has murdered a person right now and you say you want 48 hours to be taken to court, it is also the dynamic of the case is which prolong, and the constitution says 2 days, 48 hours. It doesn't say murder or safety. It doesn't. They didn't categorize when they were making that law. I think that law must also be clear, because the other cases which needs thorough investigation, and you cannot do in 1 day, based on our resources. Yes.
Yeah, maybe to add that, why do you arrest before you do thorough investigation?
Somebody has killed your wife, for example.
It's not about killing,
no,
it's
yes,
corruption.
No, it's I was giving an example. Somebody has murdered your son. You need again to first investigate before arrest.
That one would be understandable. What about issues like corruption?
Maybe to
causing financial loss.
Well, causing financial, let me answer that one. Causing financial loss, I can give an example. If you report a bank manager as causing financial loss to the company, you will not arrest. You need appointment letter. Where is the loss? We need a report from auditor. The person is professional. You bring a report to show us that this is the loss.
And at the police station we have a team, which includes the DPC, OCCID, OC station, and the crime intelligence. So we always educate people that whoever, when you come to police, whoever asks you for corruption, you come and report what? Us. But the problem comes about that when somebody is running after his person, at that particular moment he will not talk, because he wants to corrupt the mind of the other officer who is handling the case, so that his person is what? Is released. And after he has done everything and they come and convince the OCCID that this person ABCD, let him give a bond, because the OCCID has to respect sometimes the opinion of the investigating officer. Then when that person is already out, that's when he starts complaining that there is a corruption at police. Yet when we go to these radios, these community policing, we always tell them, whoever asks them money, they should report to us so that we say how we handle it. But they don't always come, they want to complain after they have taken away their person.
And to add on that, giving a bond is a constitutional right. And sometimes we don't decide, as I ought to decide to give a bond. We have suspect parade daily. It's where we call all IOs of the cases, and we see the magnitude of the case. You explain to us how far is the investigation. If we are there as bosses, we can see, based on your inquiry, this person needs 18 to go. So we order it from the parade. We don't ask money. We do it publicly. But that's it. That's how we are. But always we tell.
Currently, courts are insisting, because for us to investigate and prosecute, although different people investigate and different people prosecute in the institution, it's not that it's the same people. Now, the courts, and especially the anti-corruption court, and the courts generally, are insisting that the moment you start prosecuting, no more investigation. That in other words, before you take the case to court, you must have all the evidence. That this business of taking someone to court is already there. Then you also continue investigating when you are prosecuting. They are discouraging it. Now, it therefore means, I'm still laying a foundation for your question, it means that the moment you start prosecuting a person, you should be having like evidence. Now, in a situation like, meaning that sometimes you may have to resort to the bond. But now take a situation like murder. If someone has murdered a person and you arrest the person and you don't have evidence, but releasing him to the public may lead to mob justice. Because they say this person has murdered and has bribed the police as usual. Because based on this accusation, sometimes. So how will you handle that situation now?
Okay.
Where you can't give bond because the person is going to be killed, but again you don't have enough evidence. Take the person to court. How will you handle it?
We don't just put people here just for purpose of keeping them here. There is a report. We follow a report. We allocate files for our IOs. They start investigation. We don't take a person to court. It's not police who takes a person to court. As you said that you reach in court, there is no evidence. We assemble the file and we submit to RSA. Is him to see, based on this offense, based on this charge, this person must be appear to court. So even in court, if you say that they say in court that if there is no, you cannot carry, bring more evidence when the file is in court, is wrong. I'm telling you, even in court there is a locus. The magistrate will also come to ground. That is investigation. Before judgment, before what? So it is not there. Even the magistrate comes to the ground because of limited resources. But they are supposed to. There is a locus. Magistrate will come with his team and come and find out the real cause of that thing, of that offense in that area. But the others also come to ground. They don't come just there to see, but they are also coming to compare with this all compiled evidence on the file.
We are constrained, but through our sometimes we collaborate with the complainant. We say, please, we are constrained in the ABC, but you come in. But where it needs maybe a backup, these people come to the DPC. Can you provide us with the vehicle? If the fuel is there, it is for, we give. But there are areas where it's going to maybe to carry out, to have a statement. We need to go to the ground. Really, we're spending a vehicle which is going to take 50,000 of fuel, and when they are giving us fuel, they don't give us money. They give us what? Fuel. Now, if we are going to a distance of, it requires 5,000, would you need now the DPC or the OCCID to give you the 5,000? No. What we do, we say, now, can you provide, we have motorcycles here. Yeah? Can you put a little fuel and then, so that I think that is why they start complaining that they ask us money. If you are going to put 3,000 for your own benefit or also in their case, is that really bad?
But do you have any mechanism to ensure that what is asked for actually is within?
But even besides that, don't you have a system of knowing that today we shall most likely need to have fuel of this quantity in the car and the motorcycle? Because it's your running cost. Why do you transfer it when actually there's fuel? Okay. Most likely then the fuel is going to be misused because then the clients have to always ship it.
I want maybe before he says it, for operation, yes. Operation will include each and everything.
Including that one?
Yeah. No, when I talk of operation, I don't know why you didn't understand me well.
Those are the operations. From day to day, you'll have to go and investigate here. You'll go and pick a suspect
now
here.
we have about maybe about 20 investigations in a day. Yes. How are we going to
segment?
That is you, the DPC, to decide.
Okay, we're going to answer like this.
How do you manage?
We have a unit. Listen, we have a directorate in police.
Yes.
For example, they always give fuel of the district on the office of DPC and OC station. Now for traffic is not. Are you given a fuel?
Yeah,
it should
be there. Now for us in the CID, even I don't know. It's not even a liter, even a quarter. It's not there in the CID. I don't know this.
Have you asked the DPC to give you fuel? They want to.
That's what they were answering. Yeah. Now we might have. You see, we might receive 50 complaints in the day, and you want to avoid this issue of over detention in what? In cells of 48. And we have 3 motorcycles, or for example in the CID, and even you have 2. One is down. Sometimes we have working motorcycle at 2. But you must say these people, like the other day we had 4 murders. We did one within 3 hours we went to postmortem 4. We had 4. This very week it was on Monday or Tuesday, we had 4 murders. One is in Kinuka, one is in this Diakajura, one is this side, again another this side. But we are receiving all of them we want postmortem before burial and to find out the truth. So sometimes if like those are, but we don't have funds. We have 2 motorcycles. Okay, those are big offenses on the murder. But even the other cases, they want to go on ground to find out the truth.
Officer, for me, I will agree.
So that's why sometimes we can say, if you have come.
Yes, Bwana DPC, the people are talking to. Can we listen to each other? Hey, is that Ronnie? Can we listen to each other? So on behalf of this team, we want to thank the DPC and your people for the very good cooperation we have received from the beginning. Remember, this is not a fault-finding mission, as I told you from the beginning. By the way, Uganda Police is one of our partners in the fight against corruption and promotion of good governance. So all we are doing is to do that. So we are seeking your partnership. Where the questions were hard, it is because they had to be hard. Where they were soft, it is because they had to be soft. But that is the spirit in which we have come, and want to thank you so much for the cooperation you have showed us, and thank you.
So this one is our cover.
Has a question, but you have the explanation to answer. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's why you keep the guns. Stepping into the pool, still cows and So how much do I have to pay if I come?
No, because it works with UP.
Okay. And it has at our place, we wanted to murder the person. But they said, but the police daughter will trace us. That's a very important point for us.
I take this opportunity to invite the Awards Chairman to give the opening remarks.
The head of the delegation which is with us here in the Tennessee School Government, the RDC, and your deputy, the Chief Administrative Officer, and the staff, members of the public service, the Tennessee School Government. We are told that it is now 10 years old, and in the period of 10 years, we have been moving as a team, of course, with achievements and challenges, but I want to thank you for actually considering us and having this kind of interaction.
But particularly today, we are carrying out sensitization. Now, yesterday, those of us who are in Kampala, those of us who watch news, the week was officially launched. The second deputy prime minister, Alhaji Kimani launched on behalf of the prime minister. Those of you who TV must have seen some of us walking, I don't know, moving through the streets. That is sensitization, making people aware. Now, after that, speeches were given. I've seen the comments from the state general government in the newspapers, and last night she was on TV and all the rest of the guests. After that, we, the people here, were part of the procession yesterday. We embarked on, we're also flying to come and participate in what we call an applicant drive, to take the message to the people. It's not that in Kampala there are no people. To take the message to the people, to the districts. We are traveling, we will not be able to go to every district, but we started, and we do many activities. But I can summarize the mandate in four ways. One, we investigate corruption cases and prosecute those cases where there is evidence. So when they tell us that someone has embezzled public funds or has caused financial loss, has abused his office, we investigate those cases, and when we find evidence, then we take those people to prosecute them, and sometimes, and most times, have them convicted, because our conviction rate is now at 88% on average. But not all wrongs, of course, are crimes. Sometimes there are other administrative violations, and when we realize that, sometimes we may cause a dismissal of errant officers or recover money, stolen money to government. And we have an IT account, an assets recovery account in Bank of Uganda, where we bank this money and transmit it to the consolidated fund. Now, apart from corruption, we are also, apart from being an anti-corruption agency, we are also an ombudsman of the country. Ombudsman means that sometimes citizens may have grievances.
Simon Musinge, managing investigations, leading the PPDA team, but I will ask my colleague to talk about the mandate first, and I can address it briefly. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shila Nachwala. I'm a Senior Officer Advisory Services with PPDA. PPDA is mandated to ensure application of fair, competitive, transparent, non-discriminatory, and value for money procurement and disposal standards and practices. This is a mandate that is provided under Section 6 of the PPDA Act 2003. So in fulfilling this mandate, we carry out activities such as procurement audits, investigations, then we handle applications for deviations from particular methods of procurement. We handle administrative reviews from complaints that arise during the procurement process, among others. So in carrying out these activities in fulfillment of our mandate, we've realized that because of reforms that were introduced by the PPDA Act, there is more competition in the process of public procurement. So procurement process. This is followed by the stage of award of contracts and also the point of receipt of bids. So what are we trying to do to try and stop these manifestations of corruption at these stages? We are trying to go in so that we eliminate people at these stages of corruption. So one of our projects that is in the works is e-procurement. Pretty soon we shall be rolling it out. There are also amendments that are being done because of challenges that have been realized, amendments to the PPDA Act, as well as review of the local government regulations to try
the citizen understanding of what audit is. I don't want to go to definitions, what, and all those things. So that you can appreciate what is the role of audit, especially to us as citizens. In the first place, I want you to understand that the resources that you see in this country
belongs to you as a citizen. Because this resource belongs to very many people, the country. Not everybody can do everything. Not everybody can run the affairs. You have identified people whom you have either elected or appointed to do the management on your behalf. Now, the interest of the citizens and the interest of the agents, the people whom you have appointed to work on your behalf, sometimes tends to conflict. How? A citizen wants good services, low cost, he wants to pay almost no tax. Why the agent is interested in high salaries, good living. You know, high salary, good living, and all these things are a reduction in their cost to the citizen, isn't it? So because of that, there is that feeling that these people can have a tendency of not, trusting themselves. You need somebody completely independent to check and say, is it true? These are the owners of resources citizens say, is it true what my agent here is saying? Is what is actually there?
Paul. Malek Paul. Senior Assistant Secretary. Leandron. What causes corruption? I'll try to look at the issue of procurement. There is what we call 6% and 24%. When you look at tendering process, when you are to be paid some money to work, you have to be charged 24% for VAT, then 6% withholding tax. That's why you find most of the prices in local governments, as we are dealing with tendering process, the costs are very, very high. Something to be done using maybe 100,000, you hike it to, let's say, 200, doubling the price, because the tender has to get some profit, and also you have to execute the work given. So that when you find the due cost, I don't know whether this 6% is from URIs, and I think URI is here. So I was requesting that there is a need to revise those percentages.
Of my IPD reports. First of all, for the period I've been in government, I've made several of those investigations. But the feedback, you have to get feedback. That's number one. You have to get feedback, and really, we wonder at times what's the, is it because of corruption, the case has died? You just wonder there. Feedback was not there. Secondly, maybe even the way you approach as IPD. Normally there is a vehicle here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you give. Every time you are told investigating this and this, you cannot even come for Katasha call as you have done. That also puts you at the other side of the coin. We are looked as if you are from Mars. At times when you call me for some interrogation, at times when I hide, because I know you are not friendly. So I mean, let's have also Katasha call as you have done, as part of us to fight corruption. Thank you.
My issues with is because I think the masses have to understand the way people work or organizations work. I imagine if a case at hand, my house was broken. When I reported the case to police, the next day, the person in charge of the case was still asking me for transport, and indeed I carried him in my vehicle. Lunchtime came, he said, I want lunch. So I'm wondering in police whether they don't have money for operations or not, because every time you report, it is you to provide transport, it is you to provide lunch. Secondly, I'm worried of the two organizations, that is traffic and procurement. That is why I'm saying the masses have to maybe be mobilized and educated and see how they work. We have a list of personal accounts, but again, it deals on procurement. To me, when you say personal account and then you say, for example, pass through procurement, then you are wasting someone's time because what you are appointing will always come back. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Right away, like the chairperson Yosifai mentioned, I think corruption is so much entrenched, not from our mother's wombs, before somebody is even born. Because if you look at an example, right towards the stadium, those the desk in front, already people are so other than some. So that is also definitely is corruption already in this area. I wanted to bring out a certain scenario. I don't want to say maybe say we must be free. Let's talk about police. We've had several cases of corruption. Let's say the casinos and regulation and the rest. Somebody has embezzled billions of money, and the police, we supposed to investigate, is paid almost a pin, 400,000. Somebody investigates, somebody has stolen billions of money, and 400,000 a month. We need super situations. Can such a person investigate it? Yes. So I'm saying, unless you review, I understand there is a salary review commission going on, but for sure, for things to be stimulating, you must look at things done horizontally and vertically balanced. Thank you.
Values and correct attitudes. If I can speak for the Inspectorate of Government, one, the people you put obviously are human beings and from Uganda. Start with. They may be infested with those corrupt tendencies, they may not, and so on and so forth. But what is important? What are the values of the organization? I don't need to mention them because that's not what is important. Because you can read, you can get them from wherever. Now, for the staff of the Inspectorate of Government, when they are recruited, right from induction, the organization tells them the expectations. That's very important. I'm saying gives them the expectations. God goes further, tells them what, if you don't meet those expectations, what happens? That's what is important. My colleagues are here, and very clear to everybody. If you are seen to be corrupt, if you are corrupt, if you are investigated and found to be corrupt, there is only one, actually one option. You leave the organization. And it's not that they say, can you leave the organization? No. You'll be free investigated, prosecuted, and due punishment given to you. And that is true. It's not a question of saying my colleagues know it.
Neither having managed to facilitate investigation, that's why our investigation delay. Even I'm against the 48 hours when somebody is arrested. So that is a very big issue. One thing, one complaint that the IGD should take up, the delay in responding to cases submitted to you. Because people choose RRE's office and your office that will have a lot of money. That's what they see. That we have the money, we have capacity, we can do something. Why should you have a case 1 year, second year, and sometimes you bring your judgment when the interest is gone. Why? As I talk right now, you have about 5 cases with you. I've been talking to the region, I've been talking to the person in charge of the massacre, I've been talking to the Kampala, and everybody promises this thing tomorrow is going to be solved. And what is not done, someone concludes about wow, barrier, never investigating. And how do you deny that? It's our big pride. Now, should I even add on 5, I add on the 6 and 7s? Even having a catastrophe of calling the RRD to say they are following this. No, we are waiting. We may not come, but go and get us this and this. So that you conclude your matter. Then when it comes to the police, many things seen, you may not be able to challenge these people who you say they are corrupt in courts of law. You may not. You, the experts who can do this work, you are delaying, not responding. Now, what would the office of the RDC? Much out of the ground. I have talked to the Auditor General. I have responded to the questions. To be brief, we don't know what the Auditor General do in the districts. I know you come, you sit with the people, then 1 month or 2 months or 6 months, I get the law. Even if it's not mandated me to do anything, I also keep it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, before I go to the fractions or the percentages, maybe I want to make a small contribution towards what the gentleman said. The truth is that the opportunity that we had to discuss about corruption is a starting point to solve the problem. I believe this is a very good starting point to solve the problem of corruption. A case in point, I can say we've been successful. We are not yet there, but at least we've been successful. For example, URA, you all know about it, that in the past, were being called by a day of thieves. And if you realize that even it was coming from the head of state himself, that was the day of thieves by everybody. But when we realized there was a problem, and because of that, there was leadership change. The change in leadership meant we would have a restructuring. The restructuring that we had under Alain Kajina, as you all know, the former Commissioner General, was the turning point. Everybody was tired of corruption. And indeed, we got rid of quite a number of staff that were well known for facilitating corruption. In the process, you may not be 100%, the process of removing. There could be some elements that would have remained behind, but we put in place strategies on how to get rid of every corrupt official. Like you're saying, these people are not from Mars. If you have a corrupt society, believe me, you recruit corrupt people. But how do you tame them to become good people from being corrupt people? And indeed, if you're a corrupt person and you know you're training an institution and there are systems in place, like chairperson of the team said that if you do this, the repercussion is this. I can tell you a number of staff have been arrested, those that had made and continued the thing, and you see for yourself in papers and go to prison. And I can tell you some are still in prison. And as a result of that, everybody knows if you're going to be corrupt in your head, the repercussion is bad. It's really bad. We reach an extent that if you're caught, we publicize you in papers that you've stolen and you should not deal with this kind of person.
Because if you give him, he doesn't give him also you are put in the crime. And yet, you are supposed to be also taken in the course of law. Issues which we have raised, some of them I have had, and I advise that we have professional standards here in police, which always handles the behavior of police officers. We have the region in Masaka,
which can be able to assist in case you get a problem. And also, if there's someone who was talking about the person to whom you went to, I don't know how far it gets. I don't know how far it gets. I don't know if it was included, I don't know if it was important. You could have talked to the supervisor, not supervisor at the institute, that is the DPC, and the OCCID to assist you. If not assisted, we have the procedures and the steps. We have the RTC, if you cannot be assisted at the district, you go at the region. We have regional CID, we have RTCs, you can be assisted. And if your case is mismanaged, what are you supposed to do? If the district is mismanaging your case, we have the region, we have all those people. And if you both say what are progressive, what that. And I have come to know that even your OCCID was suspended and because you raised complaints and being investigated. So those are the things we want. If we have misbehaved, we handle them. And us as police officers, we don't stop there. As the department I head, also we have police officers who are in anti-corruption court, whom we have taken anti-corruption court. We are not sitting, even though we have some challenges we are facing with this. And it is a general problem, not even only for us, and I know other maybe others also, they are facing the same thing. And the issue of corruption cases, we have been always coming down, and even sometimes we have been sending our officers down on the ground. I remember one time we were in Riantonde with members of parliament. There was a move with SPAC about the issues raised by the Auditor General. So we don't work alone as police, we work with them, procurement, Auditor General. Without them, these people you are seeing, without them, police work will not move.
When they are security, the executive officers, who truly appoint them into the system. This is where we have been talking about the cars that are being released under the orders. This therefore constrains the system that has been constituted and to work independently over fighting corruption. That could be the first point. Developing independence in institutions fighting corruption. Second is on information delivery. I tell you the truth, there is a lack in the gap over exposure of the corrupt officers in a court of what I can call bureaucracy that is followed over when they are going to execute a corrupt official, especially in a class F group, because that's where if we can transfer, then the officers also have classes. And if someone is from the class A or what, it's very unfortunate that exposure of such a person takes a lot of bureaucracy, in which that bureaucracy builds in a system where that officer can be able to manipulate and be able to confound the investigating officers and therefore impede corruption. And that system is also there. And the third point is on the monitoring process. As we can all say, they are what they call table grounded researches. Probably even the audit reports and some reports about the activities done, whether to the local government or the central government, have been table grounded. This is where someone sits, has not monitored, but is responsible for monitoring the activities that are taking place.
Anti-corruption as the department, the way as I have seen, you may not achieve the objective of fighting corruption with zero tolerance unless you make it an independent entity. You approach individuals, but not gathering us like here, and then you get views out of us. Simply because, as you see me, now I'm identified, I'm representing now Uganda Prison Service.
You cannot fight a government, cannot fight a government. I cannot talk against a government or something which is actually bad, and yet we have to bring up right, to bring our government right. In line with what chairman was trying to say, though he did not hit it direct, there is a problem with the executive. Executive has taken control of all entities, has controlled the technocrats. My advice to the anti-corruption department is not bringing these people, because when somebody talks something about corruption, he may be specifically mentioning somebody and then he's quoted badly. And even if he has something to say, which is very constructive, may not bring it in public, like now, because he may be misquoted. My prayer is to the anti-corruption group, from the public, not the way you have made. You may not achieve the objective, the target. We are different people, we come from different localities, we come from different organizations, and we have different beliefs. It's my humble prayer that if you could come up with another policy and a way of how you can handle corruption, you will easily get views from people when you meet them individually, not here.
Christine. The sunshine wants. The sun. The sunshine wants spoil things. No. Christine down, eh? Christine down.
Yes.
There.
What is the chairman?
What is the chairman? I'm taking the time. I think we're going to come back.
Yes.
Are you sure you are what you are saying?
We have so many cameras, so we must be a little bit patient.
Oh, okay.
Like 2 minutes.
May I please have your attention?
Nobody forget the people who have addicted. Yes.
Good afternoon to ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome you to Mbarara town. This is our town with my colleague from IGG, and today we are here to inspect the USMID project. I don't know whether you are fully aware about USMID. USMID is a Uganda government project implemented under Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Its main objective was to give a new facelift to the 14 municipalities. Now, the 14 municipalities are generally the traditional municipalities in Uganda, but Hoima was added because it is an oil city. So there are basically 14. Here in Mbarara, we are implementing quite a number of projects, but one of them are the USMID roads. Initially, these USMID roads were clustered, and the project here in Mbarara, the cluster, had 4 municipalities: Hoima municipality, Fort Portal, Mbarara, and Kabale. So when they advertised and awarded the tender, the contractor, first of all, he was supposed to work on that all the roads in those 4 municipalities within 1 year. So he rejected the contract because he didn't have the capacity. So World Bank had again to unbundle the 4 municipalities. And in the process, the 4 districts, the 4 municipalities almost lost 1 year. So this project is behind by 1 year. When you go to other municipalities like Gulu and Arua, they have about 10 kilometers of roads. But here, what we are going to inspect right now, there are 3.4 kilometers of a road. That is what so far they've been able to achieve. Now compared to other municipalities, 3.4 kilometers. So that's quite, when you go to Entebbe municipality, for example, Entebbe has so many roads. When you drive around Entebbe, when you go to Guland municipality, Gul is leading in terms of performance, and Arua, they are doing so well. So today what we are going to inspect, it is 3.4 kilometers of the road, and it was contracted at 17 billion shillings. This road was completed in May 2017, the project, and they advertised and got another tender. The new roads, the new construction works are ongoing. Now, we are looking at Usmit Phase 1, but there is Usmit Phase 2, which is also ongoing.
What was the contractor for this one?
Abubeka Technical Services.
This was Abubeka?
This is Abubeka Technical.
So who came in as the second contractor?
Again, he came in as the second contractor. He won the tender for the second phase. Then the same supervising consultant, Kaga and company, also and partners, is the supervising consultant, and again is the same consultant who won the second tender. So basically we are here this evening as an anti-corruption agency, I'm told. We are going to be talking to people to find out whether they have compensation issues or they have any general issues.
For repair.
Could we be audible? We are not hearing.
But why would buses public? Bad manners.
So, do you attribute this one to the work or the weight of the cow of the vehicle is too much that beneath?
It's not on the shoulder work. They have tested.
So it is the weight of the car that, huh?
So this is all night.
No, when you are going to the next one, there is possibility.
so we can, we just open and show me what the market. No one
You can't say like that is the whole. And even you look at the sizes of the wire. There. So what is engineer? There is no problem with this gap being this side. The gap seems to be so big. That is standard. Huh? These things are weak because the gap is so big. This engineer. You don't use this side. You don't use this side. I think they put it together, but this one is much I cannot just have a So how long is this one?
This one, the details here.
It's still part of the 3.5 kilometer.
Yes, but let me give you the details. The other one was 0.5 kilometer. In Nyabongo, where we have this one's supposed to be
goes right
I don't know what members prefer.
What is its purpose? Why would the wire mesh be? Why would the wire mesh be? I would expect something like this or something like this.
Where does this road end?
Now, the mechanic.
If I recorded the video, you would have laughed.
Those guys have nothing. Why did they wear it?
Maybe somebody drops in here and he's a sharp man.
Anna, Malani, Esima Jono Sanga.
Actually, they are not challenges in my opinion, because normally when they are working on a project, the project has what we call defect liability period. So whatever we have seen as incomplete works, all works that are not up to standard, definitely the contractor must go back and work on them, because the road has not yet been handed over. It is still in the defect liability period. So whatever we have seen during our inspection, the contractor has to go back and work on those areas that are not up to standard.
Like on the issue of the walkways, we realize there are some
defects. Those are defects. They are not sure the works as of now, they are defects. And the contractor is obliged to go back and work on the defects.
So basically, to your final comment, would you say that
did what they had to do? Maybe they were lapses in supervision. That one I don't want to really insist on it. But they are defects. Normally works have defects. And those defects may be as a result of poor supervision, but the contractor has to go back and ensure that they correct all the defects before they hand over the project. The project ended in May 2017. We have a whole year to May 2018 to collect the defects. So I think there is still ample time. Who is going back? I think by law it's allowed, because that's why there is the defect liability period. You always expect snags, you always expect defects, especially as far as works projects are concerned. Working with Regional Manager Western, working with public procurement and disposal of public assets.
It's called Adele Dana. Your daughter? No, my sister. You come and stand here. Yes.
show us the t-shirt?
A bit down? It's a bit down? A bit down?
It's a bit down, yes.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not. I'm not going to let some of the issues. And she has to be given some of the issues.
We have been there, so once we've been advertised, that's the reason English. Yes, that's what we agreed with the Dixon. Yes, yes. Yeah, maybe of course, here and there we can.
Tima mwena kana naweza kubaga magori zoba tsakuja kuba twine inspector of government nishaje ari ya radio yitu nakwisha kuba na ushobora no hari bintu bingi ebyakwisha kuba naganira ho nimwe na n'abanyarwanda mumisha kuba mutungo mucisha mumisha kuba numbuze buzo kandi buzo byanyu nibisha kwisha kuba ndabiraba mu je kurungi muza twiceza eri zoba
official language nango runo tuje kuba tukolesa nza kuba tukolesaho urujungu konka emwe bintu ebyarije kuba nagamba njaje kuba nimbuvunura umurimo rwitu urunyankore ruciga kugira ngo mubihure nimba kumusha kuba n'umubuzebuzo byanyu you are free muza kuvuza umurimo ruko kumanya wano manyuru nyankore wano manyuru jungu don't worry numuzaje kuba n'umubuza umurimo rwe bwenu twine mwabagenyi bitu binji konka nizaje kuba nimba wanshoreraje kurunje munonga mazina nabanyeta Muchongo Samuel. I take this honor to introduce to you Inspector of Government Justice Irene Muryagonja. You are welcome to Radio West.
Thank you. Good evening, listeners.
Kandi on my side, twine Lydia Kwesiga kando gunaraga omuli PPDA no warukura regionage. Lydia Kwesiga, you are welcome to Radio West.
Thank you and good evening, listeners.
Twine hona nabandi abagenya buyisha nabo ntuja kuja ku bantu babanjura ahandi haje. Justice Irene Muryagonja, Inspector General of Government, welcome to Radio West and tell us the purpose why you are in this region.
Thank you very much. We are pleased to be able to talk to Ugandans this evening, and the purpose of our visit to Marara district is commemoration of the International Anti-Corruption Day and Week. The United Nations General Assembly designated the 9th of December as the International Anti-Corruption Day. It is commemorated every year, the vice of corruption. Now the government of Uganda, development partners, the private sector, non-government organizations and the media in Uganda work together to support activities to combat corruption and improve service delivery. The Inspectorate of Government, together with the Office of the Auditor General, Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, have enhanced their collaboration to contribute to the fight against corruption. So, every week before Anti-Corruption Day, we hold activities. And this particular Anti-Corruption Week, we have decided to carry out a campaign. The campaign started in Kampala, was launched on the 28th, and we had activities in Kampala, we had a march, we visited the institutions in Kampala. Before that, then yesterday it was launched by the minister and the representative of the Prime Minister, the second deputy Prime Minister. We marched in Kampala. After that there were speeches, and then there was a launch of a caravan which is going around this western part of Uganda to get a feel of how they feel about what we are doing as Inspectorate of Government.
Budget is spent by way of procurement. So this is an area that is very, very vulnerable to corruption. And PPDA's main role is to regulate. We don't buy for government, but we are regulators. We set standards. We advise entities, both the local and central government and other government agencies. We train, we build capacity of the providers and the entities. We also register providers. Registering of providers, if you want to supply government, you are advised to register with PPDA. We issue guidelines. We also conduct investigations. If you are a bidder and you are aggrieved, or if you are any person and you have issues to do with procurement, you can contact us and we investigate the matter. We also conduct periodic inspections in entities. We also monitor performance of entities to ensure that public funds are used in a transparent, a fair, more competitive, so as to achieve value for money in government. That is basically the role of PPDA. PPDA has a partnership with the Office of IGG in fighting corruption. For us, we mainly focus on corruption in the public procurement. And that's why we are here, that's why we are part of the caravan to fight corruption.
And forming networks so that we exploit the synergies. You know, if PPDA are in procurement and we are in fighting corruption, and there's corruption in procurement, we can work together. If Office of the Auditor General is in auditing of the books of the public institutions, the local governments included, and there's corruption that is found by the Office of the Auditor General, they can tip us off so that we carry out broader investigations, deeper investigations, to see whether we can arrest some people, recover some money. Those are some of the strategies. But the main strategies that we use, yes, we investigate. The Inspectorate investigates corruption, it prosecutes corruption. We also have the strategy of ensuring that the rule of law is followed, that in every public office, people who work there follow the rules and regulations that Parliament has put in place for us to follow in doing our work. That is, we call that the ombudsman function of the Inspectorate of Government. Why do we go into that? We go into that because we believe that corruption comes about when systems don't work. When systems are not working, when laws are not being observed, the result is corruption. When systems don't work, people are not punished, therefore we develop what is called impunity.
I think the team is bigger. Some officers are just arriving. I received a call yesterday evening that I will be receiving a team from Jealous. So I'm yet to know from you more about your visit.
You are receiving a team from Jealous. That's what you are told.
That's the impression.
That one has a team now. But I think they will also come.
You will come now.
For us, we are just another team.
Okay.
Because we are not from Jealous.
All the same, you're welcome to the farm. I'll start by a brief introduction about the farm. Kibura Prison Farm is located north of Vibanda district, along the road to Kamwenge district. It is geographically located near River Mpanga, and it shares a boundary with Kamwenge district in the southwestern region. It's the only farm in prisons we have in the southwestern region. It was established in 1968 with an objective of rehabilitating prisoners and reforming offenders through modern farming practices and also rearing animals. Here at the farm, we do both crop and also we do rear animals, livestock. We have a livestock section, and as of today, we have 338 heads of cattle. We have 90 goats, and we have 208 sheep. That is livestock section. Our unlock today, we are having 465 prisoners. All of them are male convicts. We don't have remand prisoners here. We only use convicted prisoners. We receive our prisoners from other units, and they come majorly here to do farm work. We only pick convicts from other units, all the way from Kisoro, Kabale, Ntungamo, Ukunjiri. As long as we need labor, we move around, collect them, we bring them here to do farm work. Every season we are given targets. Because for us we are grain producers to feed others. We grow food for other units. We supply Kampala, we supply the region, these prisons within the southwestern region, and any other unit that we are instructed to give food. Our staff strength. We have 83 uniformed officers. This includes one enrolled nurse deployed at the unit by the district local government to boost the medical staff because they are thin on the ground. All the 83 uniformed staff, they are accommodated. As you are coming, we went through our barracks. All of them are accommodated, and including the civilian staff. And this has improved greatly. As you came in, you are able to see that our barracks is undergoing renovation. We have been able to remove the grass, those finna mowers, they are called finna mowers. Formerly they have been thatched with grass. But in the bid to improve the welfare of staff, we said no, let us remove the grass. We have been able to thatch them with iron sheets. Being a farm, we also allocate our staff land for farming. This one helps them greatly to supplement on their feeding budgets and also to improve their welfare, to supplement on the salary they do what they get. And this one has also improved their morale and the place of work. About basic agronomic practices, we teach them right from bed preparation, field preparations, that is seed bed preparations. Whether it is horticultural crops, we teach them how to set nursery beds. And also the timing, when you're supposed to do the first tilling, when you're supposed to do the second tilling, and the reasons as to why you are supposed to deep plow, why you are supposed to shallow plow, depending on the type of crop you are going to do it, to plant, and also the seasons. It has been unfortunate that the previous seasons, around 4 seasons, weather has been unreliable. And that one has greatly affected our output. But again, we don't have control about weather because we are not into yet irrigation. But I think our bosses are really buying the idea of going in for irrigation. But you know, it has something to do with finance. Maybe they're waiting for funds.
Maybe you should invite His Excellency the President to visit you. The irrigation really requires.
It has been able to give us machinery. We have 3 tractors to help us do farming. This one has gone a long way to help our inmates reduce on the workload. It eases work given the acreage we are being given every season. We have 3 tractors. They have given us 2 planters. These ones help us in planting. And we do it concurrently. Of course, also the prisoners, they do plant using a rope, because you will see, as you see, we are planting our crops in lines. but this one helps us to beat our target because we have a time frame in which to do the planting if we are to achieve and make sure we don't waste government resources. So they work concurrently, the machineries, the planters, as well as the prisoners, to make sure that at least within a minimum of 1 month, we are done with the planting the 600 acres. We were given also a water bowser, that is the can that helps us get water for both spraying and also giving our prisoners water when they're in the farm. They need plenty of drinking water when they are doing the farm work. We also have a boom sprayer. This one helps us in spraying herbicides, especially killing unwanted grasses, unwanted grass. We also have maize threshers. These help us remove maize from the cobs when we are going to mill food and also to distribute to other units. We are supposed to get 7,000 bags.
7,000 bags of
That's an average.
7,000 of 100. That is not very much. How much do you consume?
Me as a prison.
No, yes, you as a prison.
Me as a prison, I consume an average of 600 bags a season. 600 bags a season. Prisoners are growing seed. They grow seed, they give me seed. A good example is grain. They are no longer growing grain. They grow seed. Actually, the seed I'm growing comes from grain. For me, I grow grain for people to eat. They grow seed for me to plant. And others are growing cotton because it is a presidential directive. So they have stopped growing grain.
So all the 64 will be distributed?
Definitely. Definitely. I'm usually given but I was telling you earlier on that we have not been able to realize that because of unreliable.
Yes, now it's supposed to be surveyed. How much do you realize?
The last season.
Last season, how much?
Because of
so what is the African outcome? Because you know, in government we have this program that I will plant so much maize without thinking of how much, so much corn in the field without thinking of how much corn will I get out at the end of the day.
Now, our target determines my target for the financial year I told you is 1,200 acres. They give me a target in acres.
And so you are still susceptible to that disease in government of Uganda because the fact that you planted so many acres, yes, tell us.
The target is 600 acres per season, so making it 1,200 acres. But we are expected to get 15 tons per acre on average. So to get that 15 times 600 to get that target for the season. But in most cases we have been venting from 10 to 12 because of poor weather conditions.
10 to 12 tons?
Yeah. But the capacity of the corn can go up to 25 kilograms, 25 tons, depending on the variety that you have planted. Usually the hybrids, they produce higher, that is like the longer 10H, then open pollinated varieties, they produce relatively lower.
Do you have any statistics on the produce of the farm?
On the produce of the farm? Here we do have, I think, because
in terms of what you get out. You know, I'm asking you these questions because you are going to come to a point where government is going to start asking you for outcome. Because now we are at the point of saying, for us, we are already being asked for outcome. Now for you, they are going to start. If they haven't started asking you for your output. There's so much, and I got so much, or I expected so much as output, and I got so much in spite of what I expected, because the borers, the armyworm, the weather, the sickness of the prisoners, whatever it is, the reason you have. We can no longer continue to operate on. I plant so many acres. That is not the way we are going. You will come to a point where they will ask you, what is your actual outcome? And before you get to outcome, you must know outcome.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Because, one of the problems, now if they ask, just to run, what did you produce this financial year? What would you give that type of statistics? Would you give the records? Do you have them? That's in effect, that's what.
In fact, yes, if he was investigating here, that's what he would ask.
Yes, that's what. Because that should be the most important thing. Because I can see you are talking of the acreage that should be planted and so on and so forth. So if you are asked, can you give us records of what you produced in this and this? Do you have those records?
Yes. And in fact,
15 tons per acre.
That is the expected.
But which is not correct. I don't think you can get 15 tons in an acre. Maybe 1,500 kilograms.
No,
you do your calculation very well. No, I mean, it's we are ambitious.
He's right.
You can't get in 1 acre. You know what a ton is. That is huge.
Actually, 1 is 1,000.
It is 15 pounds. Exactly. That's very correct. That is very correct.
Now you see,
not
they gave you how much?
6,000 kilograms, I think.
600. We had them in the files.
You have the records.
I can.
So that if a person came here audit, you should be able to tell them what you got, what you planted, what you got out of that, how much you distributed, and over time.
The records we have, because when seed leaves, really, it comes with vouchers. It is also entered into our stores. It is also released from stores to the farm. So the records we have.
Determines who comes here from the other prisons.
From other prisons?
As
an officer?
Which convicts come to Chibura?
Oh, no.
Afanda, you may sit down, please.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
In charge in that respective prison where I'm requesting for labor. Mine, I send the signal to the regional prisons commander in that region to help me mobilize labor for the farm. Okay? But, of course, I also set my standards.
Oh, so you give him the criteria?
Yeah, I need healthy and not sick what? Prisoners. Because if he gives me sick prisoners, they are not going to do what? Farm work. So if he brings sick prisoners, still the road will go back with them.
Oh, so when they bring them, examiners?
Yeah, because the nurse will be there. We have what we call an admission board. On the admission board, the nurse is supposed to sit on the admission board and is supposed to find out those who are able to do farm work.
So who else constitutes this board?
The board is, the chairman is me. The deputies, my deputy is the vice, the in charge fields, the nurse, the welfare officer, and we co-opt the in charge human rights, who is a prisoner. He's on our board. He sits on our board.
So on that board, you don't have a good health, yes.
Good health, and of course not beyond the 7 years, because Yeah.
Okay, you know those criteria written down?
No. I just set them and
You set them when you are sending to the other prison, asking.
we don't change them regularly, but at least they are known to them.
Can you provide a copy of that criteria? Criteria for determining who comes here.
Yeah, before you leave, I will avail. I'm going to inform my clerk to put this one.
Okay. You said you don't have doctors.
Because at least they have the referral hospital.
Okay, then you said the convicts that you get here have exhausted their appeals. Is it in a statutory instrument?
Yes.
Which one?
And you need to change that one.
Which statutory instrument?
I may not have it of head, but we are paying 100 shillings per day.
You have a
for unskilled.
You have a copy of that instrument?
That was not said by you.
But you said so that one is at the rate of 100.
Because
you said they are going
because
to
my
be
labor
100 and those.
Yes, my labor is expected to be unskilled. But when I
contract for the building.
So that's
Good morning. So how is Burara?
Burara is okay.
It's fine. So we are here. The team that you see with me are staff of the Inspectorate of Government, staff of the Office of the Auditor General, the Directorate of Ethics, in the Office of the President, and the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority. Every year there is a designated week for anti-corruption, and there is also a day which we mark as Anti-Corruption Day. Those two functions were decided on by the United Nations General Assembly, so every year they take place. This year we decided that in the celebration of that Anti-Corruption Week and Anti-Corruption Day, we are going to visit some institutions in Uganda. And one of the ones we chose, most of them are in this part of the country, the southwestern part of the country. One of those we chose was this prison, to come and see how things happen here. Our interests in coming to the prison is to see how the prison is run, the challenges in the prison, the kind of facilities they are in the prison, but we also want to find out how you handle complaints of prisoners, how the OC and senior staff handle the complaints of you, the wardens, the staff in the prison. Those are the issues we wanted to find out. Because we think that corruption happens when there are no good administrative processes. If the administrative processes are not going well, they give rise to corruption and lack of accountability. That's why we are looking through the systems in the prison to see whether there are any loopholes which can lead to impunity and therefore corruption. We have not been able to talk to all of you, although we would have loved to talk to you as the staff of the prison, but the time we have is short. We have talked to the OC, he has given us a lot of information, but we are leaving a team behind from the 4 officers. And that team will have the opportunity of 1, talking to you as staff here in the prison, 2, talking to some of your inmates, and 3, inspecting the prison. So we are going to leave here with you some of our colleagues, and they will do what we have not been able to do as a whole team. We request that you accord them the information that they require. We request also that you give them an opportunity to talk to some of the inmates, and then we will see. Most probably we may be coming back later for more information about the prison, because each of the officers is responsible for accountability in certain form. There are some issues which we have found but which we need clarification on, so we may have people coming back to talk to you some more so that we receive the information that we want about this facility. Otherwise, we are happy to be here, and we want to thank you for the job that you are doing, keeping the people we send you to you here. We are happy to hear that they are producing food for the other prisons, which is a very good thing. To save government some of the resources, the limited resources we have. We are happy to hear that you are contributing to that by producing corn, rearing animals, so that you feed the other prisons. With those few words, I want to take the opportunity to again thank you for the work, and also request you to accord our staff who are remaining the information that they require. Thank you.
Officers, attention.
Gathering, we pray for our chair, that you bless her, that you empower her as she delivers her message, so that at the end of the day we leave this place when we are armed, empowered, to be able to defeat the monster called corruption. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
The government of Uganda, development partners, private sector, non-government organizations, and the media in Uganda are working together to support activities to combat corruption and to improve service delivery. The Inspectorate, together with the Office of the Auditor General, the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, as well as the Uganda Revenue Authority, the institution we have seen here, we work together in this struggle to fight corruption. Now this year we decided to have a campaign. Every year we have a campaign, but this year's campaign we have earmarked it, restoring integrity in civil service and regaining public trust in the fight against corruption. And during this period, starting on the 28th But even before that 28, we have been meeting different institutions in government to talk about corruption. And we decided to have a campaign on this side of the country. We moved from Masaka, we came to Yantonde, Barara, now in Uganda. The team will continue to Mubende, and then end up in Benin. Now what we are trying to find out is how corruption manifests itself. This time we are looking at district local governments. And we are looking at the drivers of corruption in local governments. And we also want to know the mechanisms that have been put in place to fight corruption in local governments. And the other thing is how the local governments can work with us, the anti-corruption agencies. We also want you to share with us some successes that you have made in fighting corruption. So we requested that the administrative officer to organize this meeting so that we can interact with you. We want to hear mostly from you. We are not going to be saying much about fighting corruption, but we will hear from you, and then we will also take some questions from you about how we interact with our officers and what we can do in this fight.
As a wider perspective, that in our local governments, especially Uganda, corruption manifests itself in time, in misusing time. When a public officer or a leader, you don't dedicate your time, full time to your work, that is what? Corruption. And it is common here, madam. It's common here. People are supposed to be full time in office. Some of them, they are not there, but I'm fighting it. Especially those ones who go to study without permission. We delete them from the payroll and start a disciplinary process. But the problem comes as we don't discipline politicians. But also them, we don't want. They are the full-time ones commit all this. And it is a big problem here. Take an example, if CAF is not in office, things will not move on. If RDC is not in office, things will not move on. Even members of the meeting, if they are not in office, things will not move on. What? No money. That is number one. Number two, the manifestation of corruption. We have seen there are groups which go and register as companies. But when you go deep, find it began as a CPO, in a few minutes it mutates into a company, in a few minutes it mutates itself into another thing, but they are collecting money from our people. They are collecting money from our people. I don't know whether it is called COWE. There was a group called COWE. There is it called Alliance International? Huh? Now here there is Yes We Can. Members will bear with me that those groups steal money from us. And people are comfortable giving money innocently. When it comes to the arguments, when they go into these people, they don't fulfill it. And they have channeled them big chunks of money. Because one of them, the Yes We Can, we start with RDC and other political leaders who say they should stop the act.
One, I want to say a few things that can be identified as corrupt tendencies
in the Uganda district local government. First of all, on the whole, the corruption, if any, in Uganda district local government is really very low. I want to start from that note. It is if it is there, it is just on a small scale. We are always trying to fight it.
Done to fight corruption. One, we have a complaint book. If any member of the public has a complaint about a civil servant, is free to come and register that complaint. And we developed it after an interaction with IGG under Ombudsman and something. So we developed that complaint book and it is open.
The success story, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, on your point, I wanted to ask, because Madam Chair, we've been going through different districts as far as the district integrity promotion forums are concerned. And we have found out that the cows who are taking coal in most, especially in the eastern, and the RDCs who are political, so both the political arm and the taking coal arm, they cannot work together. So I wanted a success story from Uganda, and I think I want to salute. Because we've seen the RDC and cow here, they should tell us how they are working together to defeat that kind of conflict that exists. And actually it's corruption itself manifested, although you might not see it explicitly, but implicitly it might be there.
The brave of
this rivalry. So can we hear from them so that we can borrow a leaf and go and share with the rest?
First of all, I always wanted to talk about the roads. The Kaso Uganda Road and Uganda Kamwe intersection, there was a problem with the compensation, and this was at the time when there were issues with UNRA. You know what happened during that transaction. The UNRA officials then somehow managed the money which was supposed to be compensated to the people. So eventually, of course, you remember what happened to UNRA, there was transition. Now, when these people came, of course they wanted their money. I involved UNRA, I engaged UNRA with the, of course, then Chief Administrative Officer and the Chairman of the Flight. So, the UNRA people came, the new UNRA now, came and revalued these people. Then later on, they were supposed to have the government valuer again value the property and consequently payment. And that process is on. I'm not very happy to inform this gathering that soon this people will be paid. Because I'm being following it. While I was convincing them, people don't involve in the strike and so on. There's a time when we were supposed to go to the president here, and these people came to office. We convinced them, thank God they did not. But the councillor, we are working so hard that the money will be paid. Now on the success, this relationship with the top leadership, the district leadership, the COW, Chairman LC5, the RDC. Normally what happens, where you find confusion is the overlap. Some of these people want to overlap into another person's area. For example, I'm not going to reprimand the sub-county chief when the cow is not aware. I'm not going to harass the in-charge of Ishongoro. Ishongoro is one of the health center force here. When the cow is not in the know, or when the DHO is not aware. So what has happened, normally what happens with our colleagues, they normally want to stretch their mandate and end up conflicting. Otherwise, these people will bear witness that we are trying here to keep our relationship very well, and no wonder even the district really we have seen
give an opportunity.
As our RDC has said, these conflicts normally come with lack of experience and lack of induction. Somebody is brought to office, is not inducted on what he's going to do. Some of them don't know how to read the Constitution, to know what cow does, what chairman does, what RDC does. So it becomes a total curfew. Then other people, they have greed for power. Greed for power. That I'm the district chairman. Nobody's above me. Cow transfer this person to another station. I faced those challenges when I was in Kagati. The chairman will say, you appoint this person, whether he has papers. Because my first interaction with the chairman there, he said, you are sitting on me, and he banged my office and went. My first interaction in office. So that greed for power is very dangerous. Then another one, some people are also money hungry. Whether there is money or no money, they want the what? They want the money. That is the whole problem. That is the whole problem. But even the people, our RDC is satisfied with what he gets by them. Because when you go to other districts, the RDC will never leave your office. Every time they are engaging your technical staff, find RDC is someone in CFO. Please, I want fuel. Someone in the engineer. But in Ivana, chairman, the same. But in Ivana, I'm very happy I'm working with a good team which is satisfied. Because if you learn to live within your means, you will never face a lot of these challenges. But people don't want to live within their means. You find a district chairman before he goes into office, he has acquired a number of debts. He wants the office to pay the what? The debts. So you conflict himself in his tendering process. You find him mixing himself in giving of jobs, such things. But here, my chairman is an experienced chairman. So money is consumed for its actual beneficiary.
I'm still in the record. Thank you very much.
I'm here.
Members, our guests today, as an Chief Administrative Officer, you remember on 20th, you called me in Rochdale to go to Kampala, the Ministry of Works, to receive equipment on behalf of the district. And I duly received the equipment, the pre-order, which is going to be used to load material on the tipper and the grader, which is also going to be used for the grading of the roads. The other equipment like a water bowser, a tipper, and the compactor, they were not registered, but they are also there. So I duly yesterday received the equipment on behalf of the district, and I would like to take this opportunity to hand over the equipment to you in the presence of our guests and the staff members who are here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Value for money.
Yeah. You are first going for lunch?
But as we are here, come for support of citizens and seek their views about the levels of corruption in service delivery. Now, about corruption itself, we all know that rampant corruption obstructs development and hinders the attainment of both global and national development goals. For the case of Uganda, failure to attain a lower middle income status by 2020, which is the goal set out in the second National Development Fund, may be attributed to the levels of corruption in this country. Corruption further defies and undermines fundamental human rights, institutions, and the belief in the systems that have been created. In an environment where corruption prevails, public resources are redirected to the correct pockets of the corrupted few individuals, which deepens inequality by diverting money solely needed for healthcare, education, and other essential services. Corruption affects the poor, since they are the ones most in need of the public goods and services, but cannot afford to pay bribes in order to access them. Targeted the institutions of government that are meant to serve citizens by providing basic services which are affected by corruption when it continues to show up in processes of delivery of these crucial services. We therefore held boardroom sessions with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, including several institutions in the accountability sector, the Ministry of Health, and also the Ministry of Works and Transport and allied institutions. In these institutions, we focused on mechanisms that have been put in place to fight corruption from within. We found that the following institutions have made commendable efforts to fight corruption from within. We have the Bank of Uganda, Uganda Revenue Authority, National Water and Sewerage Corporation. We do not say that this is an exhaustive list, but these are the institutions that we interfaced with during this period, which demonstrated to us that they have put these mechanisms in place internally to fight internal corruption. Uganda District Council, which we also visited as I said before, informed the team that they too have mechanisms in place to prevent absenteeism among public servants, that they have registers of attendance, analysis of which may lead errant officers to be removed from their payroll or suspended for absenteeism. Today, we have the pleasure of receiving back the team, which I led, but I came back earlier than them, which carried out the road campaign, and which was flagged off on the 28th November 2017, when we launched the activities for the anti-corruption week. While on the road, the team participated in the following activities. We had a spot check of Lukaya Way Bridge in Karungu district. We had a public dialogue of Baraza at Lukaya Town Council. We made a spot check on Lyantonde Police Station in Lyantonde district. We had a public dialogue of Baraza in Lyantonde Market. We had a boardroom session with Lyantonde district leadership and technical team. We also held a talk show on Radio West in Barara. We had a public dialogue in Rebikona in Barara municipality. There was also a spot check on the construction of Usmid roads in Barara municipality. We also had a spot check on Chiburara prison in Ibanda district. A boardroom session was also held with Ibanda district local government leadership and technical team. We had a public dialogue in Baraza with the community in Ibanda town. There was a radio talk show in Fort Poto, public dialogue of Baraza in the community hall in Fort Poto town, and the spot check at Mpanga Market in Fort Poto, together with the public dialogue of Baraza and the mayor's gardens in Rende. I now will take this opportunity to inform you of some of the issues that we found when we made these interactions with members of the public. They applauded the anti-corruption agencies for reaching out to them and seeking their views and participation, which they viewed as a sign of increased commitment to eliminate corruption. We found that the police, though it is mandated to enforce laws, protect the community and their property, and report to complaints, it was reported that the police is insufficient, is facilitated to carry out its responsibilities. For example, at Lyantonde police station, it was stated that it is allocated 300 liters of fuel monthly to conduct operations and respond to complaints in the community. it was said that this allocation is not sufficient and has compelled the police to solicit additional funds from complainants to facilitate their operations. This is viewed by complainants as corruption. It was further observed that the management of police bonds in the same area is considered to be poor by the public. It was further alleged that suspects are tortured while in detention, while others are detained for a long time without being released to court. The community also alleged that they frequently offer bribes to the police to access their services. During the spot check of the Web Bridge at Bukaya Town Council, the team was informed that UNRA has mechanisms in place to address corruption at the bridge. The penalty lists are displayed in the public notice board, providing a contact number for reporting corruption.
So we have recovered funds. We have since 2013 to date, we have recovered over 86 billion shillings, which we have, which is in the consolidated fund, and from June 2017 to date, we have about 445 million shillings that we have recovered, and is in the asset recovery account with Bank of Uganda. My Lord, we also have a number of restraining orders, which are in different stages, in about 8 cases, and most of them we have not succeeded in getting, because we have appeals pending on them. So we have a number of restrained assets, over 100 land titles that we have restrained, and the cases are ongoing. We have motor vehicles, over 100 motor vehicles. The motor vehicles are with the accused persons because we don't have a facility for asset management, my Lord. So we leave the motor vehicles with the accused persons. We just only have the logbooks. My Lord, the motor vehicles, some of them are exhibits, but we are left with the accused persons, my Lord. We actually try to have them at police at the beginning, about I think 15 luxury cars. But after like 3 months, they were depreciating, so we just had to give it back to them, and we just restrain transfer of those vehicles. It's just because of asset management. That's one big challenge that we have here.
Thank you very much, particularly for the recoveries. I think it is good for the public, and we look forward to the Directorate of Public Prosecutions to champion this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, my Lord.
And we are extremely happy that at least you are around today.
Thank you, my Lord, for that recognition. I was also going to specially recognize the DPP for being available. My Lord, next is the judiciary, and we have a team from the Public Relations Office and the Office Supervisor Judiciary and Corruption Court.
My Lord, my name is Godfrey Pipi, the Office Supervisor and Corruption Court. What we have here are brochures concerning the things that the services that are offered by the judiciary, and especially at corruption, we have a brochure on Philippa Gay. Philippa Gay is being undertaken by the corruption court seriously. We have very many orders that have come out of Philippa Gay. As the DPP has been talking, there are some orders that the judges have passed and some recoveries have been done out of plea bargain. Yeah, accused persons or the public can freely appear before the magistrates at corruption. And the various have criminal matters, issues on court fees, we have civil matters. We have a library at a corruption court where the judges and the lawyers freely access material about the anti-corruption court. And here we also have registers at a corruption court, like any other division. We have the register for the magistrate court. Cases are committed as for trial. First handled by the chief magistrate or the magistrate once, who have the jurisdiction to grant the bail. And when persons are committed to the high court, we have the fresh registration. Cases at high court, we call them session cases at corruption, and there are criminal cases while at the trial magistrate courts.
We have Madam Ida Christine and Mr. Kinome Robert representing the office of the IEG.
Thank you, my lord. My name is Christine.
And besides you, my lord, the deputy IEG himself is also listening.
Thank you, my lord. We are with a team of prosecutors and investigators. Here we have we've been participating in the fight against corruption in government projects where we work with the community and we work with a component called TAP, Transparency, Accountability and Anti-Corruption. And there's some success stories because we have the public involved with us. We have some stickers here for the public to help us to show that they are participating in the fight against corruption and stick them on their cars. We have collaborative efforts with other agencies fighting corruption like the OAG, PPBA, and the jails. We have a biannual report to Parliament where we compile all the cases that have been completed. We also have other messages that will support the fight against corruption and the IG ODS online declaration system, and you're able to check whether you declared properly right straight away. Of recent, we also established the asset recovery unit. Thank you, my lord.
Thank you very much.
And are you covering the number of assets?
Yeah, I think Mr. Chumbo.
Yeah, my lord, thank you so much. Like the ODPP officer said, we have a asset recovery unit which was recently established. But my lord, I can assure you that for the past 7 months they have been operating. They are closing on 100 million, which to me I think is a great achievement because the lawyers in the relevant units were not initially trained to act as asset recoverers. So to that we really think it is a very good achievement.
We have a team led by Judas Natamba, the PRO for HG.
My lord, you are most welcome to the office of the Auditor General. The office of the Auditor General is mandated by the Constitution of Uganda, Article 163, to audit and report to Parliament on all public accounts. This mandate is also amplified by Sections 13 and 18 of the National Audit Act of 2008. My lord, I'm glad this morning to inform you that we do audit your courts as well. So as we interact with this afternoon, we hand over to you a soft copy of the Auditor General's report submitted to the Speaker of Parliament for the financial year 2016, the current report. We are not bothering you this afternoon to carry a lot of files and books because we are going actually electronic. So let me ask my brother Waso Tony to hand over the report to you, signed by the Auditor General of Uganda, Mr. John Mwanga, and I'll be asking him to hand over to you this important tool. Most of the times, our auditees, our clients, do not understand even the opinions that we give them after the exercise, after when audits are concluded. But in this tool, which has been recently launched, we try to explain to our clients and auditees what the audit means, our processes, different audit opinions, so as to make them understand our role and our mandate. And before you leave, finally, I will ask you that you sign our visitors book as a point of accountability. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will sign the book, but I am also happy, if I may report, that there has been this morning some public departments and all that are wasteful of government resources. And I am happy to say that the courts are not part of that. Thank you.
Of the Commercial Division, Justice David Wamtusi, and my Lord, the head of the Anti-Corruption Division, Justice Lawrence Gidudu, my Lord, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Deputy IGG, you all to this open day. Such a day provides a forum at which we interact as stakeholders and actors in the anti-corruption fight and focus on issues of interest to all of us. Today's theme is restoring integrity in public service, regaining citizens' trust in the anti-corruption fight. And as you notice, it is a departure in quite real terms from last year's theme, which was, and I quote, reject and report corruption, your responsibility. As actors in this field of anti-corruption, we should ask ourselves why there has been such a turnabout from last year's call to us to reject and report corruption. And the departure is that now we are being called upon to restore integrity in public service and to regain citizens' trust in the anti-corruption fight. As far as I'm concerned, today's theme points to a situation gone wrong. The reason we are being exhorted to restore integrity in public service and to regain the citizens' trust in the anti-corruption fight. We therefore need to reflect on how the fight has evolved and why we have lost public confidence, as the theme suggests. Is it that we have failed to remain afloat in the sea of corruption and therefore have been caught in the corruption net? Are we overwhelmed by the enormity of responsibility on our shoulders, or are the expectations too high?
We are pleased to be part of this event because this coincides with the Anti-Corruption Week, which is commemorated on the 9th of December every year on account of the adoption of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. This year, the Inspectorate of Government, in partnership with the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, Office of the Auditor General, Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets in the Justice, Law and Order sector, under which this court falls, have held a national campaign in Uganda focusing on the theme of restoring integrity in public service and regaining citizens' trust. The theme re-echoes the principles outlined in Objective 26 of the National Objectives in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, which compels all persons placed in positions of leadership and responsibility to hold offices in trust for the people and to be answerable to the people in the work and delivery of public services. Over the last 12 months, the Inspectorate of Government, which is the lead anti-corruption agency, has developed a number of initiatives. And we think that the last year has really been a milestone in the history of the Inspectorate of Government. because we've taken firm steps towards building structures that we think will help in the fight against corruption. Our institution has registered 3,079 complaints. We were able to investigate, were able to investigate and conclude 3,005 complaints. As indicated, we were able to save through our intervention loss of 36 billion shillings in 1 year. We recovered cash 1.6 billion shillings. We arrested 36 public officers during the year and prosecuted 101. That means we carried forward some people from the past. And we secured 24 convictions. These numbers are shared to demonstrate our commitment to the fight against corruption and to join this, the Anti-Corruption Court in the open day as we commemorate the Anti-Corruption Week. We once again want to thank you, our hosts, the Anti-Corruption Court, for your total commitment to delivery of justice. This is one of the fastest courts, and I think that should be acknowledged. What holds it back is the evidence, but we know that this court turns around cases. If you bring the cases, the evidence, and the witnesses, they have the capability and the track record of turning around cases very quickly, which is the spirit in which the court was set up. We once again thank you.
Acting in public interest is a core foundation of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and we believe that public perception can never be taken for granted. At the institutional level, my office has a zero-tolerance policy against corruption, and we are always mindful of the fact that one of the ways through which we can gain public trust is to execute our mandate with utmost integrity. As stakeholders in the anti-corruption fight, the office set up an anti-corruption department which prosecutes corruption cases. And since its inception in 2009, the Anti-Corruption Department of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has registered 2,250 cases. And of these, 1,014 have been taken to court, and 620 have been concluded with an average conviction rate of 75%. You may clap. Thank you very much. Some of these notable cases that have been prosecuted by the department include Uganda against Serwamba and others. This was the first money laundering case which ended with conviction and the convicts ordered to pay 450 million United States dollars. Next case, Uganda against Valentino Kamia, was handled through a plea bargain. The convict was ordered to pay back 8.4 billion shillings and was handed a 3-year sentence. The Kazinda cases, already we have had 2 convictions and an order of 316 million and 800 shillings, and the third case of 2.1 billion is on defense hearing. Uganda against Jimmy Lomaf and others, these have already been convicted of diversion of pension funds and ordered to pay back to government 50 billion shillings in addition to custodial sentences. Uganda against John Kashaka, commonly known as the bicycle case, people were convicted of causing financial loss and ordered to refund $1.719454 million to government. Other cases include the Global Fund cases, NATS cases, and cases from the Office of the Prime Minister, where public officials were convicted of corruption cases and ordered to repay back government funds.
Mine is a suggestion, it is not a question. I'm happy with the disclosure of information in this purple booklet, and I'm proposing that in this time when a lot of information is digital, that we start to go in that direction where this information can be widely spread
through digital channels, through social media channels, because many times success stories do not permeate as much as the bad news. So perhaps we could use social media channels and other digital avenues.
I'm very interested, particularly in the Financial Intelligence Authority and how best it's helping the Office of the DPP and in respect to the matters before the Anti-Corruption Court. Thank you.
The question about handling cases with IGG, like there is a conflict, we handle some cases and so on. I would like to report that there are times when investigations commence, either simultaneously or because they are reported by different people. But as soon as we realize that IGG is handling the matter and we are also handling, in the very initial stages, we meet with the IGG or any of their officers, we compare notes, and between the two of us, we agree on who should continue with the matter. We have never had a situation where we are either fighting over cases or we are doing a duplicitous job. People with us, whenever they make a report to police about funds, suspicious funds, they copy it to us, and it is one of the sources of our work. So we have a very good working relationship with FIA.
Please, everyone, members of the public, and we Ugandans, in all our capacities, let us be bold when it comes to fight corruption. It is an opportunity to sensitize the masses against offering bribes or any form of gratification to public servants. Corruption, once allowed to go on, we are the victims. I come from Chengera, a few kilometers from the center here, along Kampala-Masaka Road. But when you go at this time, there are youngsters there. These youngsters are there walking the street from 6 in the morning up to about 8 or 9 in the evening. And why are they there? Corruption. It means these youngsters cannot be looked after, or we are not able to cater for them because of the resources of the country being utilized wrongly through corruption.
A very good morning. Welcome to the Capital Gang, your ultimate weekend social political talk show here on 91.3 Capital FM. It's Saturday, the 9th of December 2017. My name is Simon Kasiaki, standing in for the regular host of this program, Oscar Samoya Msoke, who is unable to be with us, and to take you through these incredible 2 hours. But incredibly, and also perhaps also related to all these activities, is that we have the Anti-Corruption Week, which is underway. And this morning we have the privilege of discussing issues around corruption. Some deliberately remove the word anti and call it the Corruption Week. Understandably so, as everyone running towards Christmas is beginning to mop up every little coin and monies that they can get to enjoy over the Christmas period. And much of that activity is not straight and far away from the vagaries of corruption. However, it is Anti-Corruption Week. The Anti-Corruption Week is a global undertaking that has been designated to undertake activities that will fight corruption in countries. And some of the activities that Uganda in particular undertakes during this Anti-Corruption Week will be enumerated and given further ground by the dignitaries I have been in the studio. Without further ado, without holding you to much tension, allow me to introduce my guests this morning. What is a conversation around corruption if you don't have the Office of the Inspector General? And for us on the gang, we have the Inspector General, Lady Justice Irene Muyagunja. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning, listeners.
As a tag team, they always work with the Office of the Auditor General, and I have with me Francis Masuba, the Assistant Auditor General, Corporate Affairs. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning, listeners.
And yes, where it all starts, where we break the rules and end up in corruption, perhaps, or where we should abide by the rules and never get into corruption, is the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority. Others prefer to call it the PPDA law, but we have someone from that office, Uthman Segawa, Director Legal and Investigations. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning, listeners.
Lady Justice Irene Ndiago, just start with you, Anti-Corruption Week. What exactly is this from the point of your view as the Inspector General?
The UN designated the 9th of December every year as International Anti-Corruption Day. This was after the United Nations Assembly adopted the United Nations Convention Against Corruption under Resolution 58/4. It designated 9th as Anti-Corruption Day to raise awareness on corruption and the role of the Convention in combating and preventing it. The Convention entered into force in December 2005 in Uganda, and Uganda ratified the Convention. Now in Uganda, the day is dedicated to raising awareness about the dangers of corruption and reminding citizens about their responsibility in the fight against these crimes. It is also a time when anti-corruption efforts are reviewed in order to assess their effectiveness and identify and share new strategies with the public. This year, the UN is commemorating the day with the theme, United Against Corruption for Development, Peace and Security. This theme was adopted because every year, $1 trillion is estimated to be paid in bribes, while an estimated $2.6 trillion is stolen through corruption, a sum equivalent to more than 5% of the global GDP. Now, according to the United Nations, in developing countries, funds lost to corruption are estimated at 10 times the amount of official development assistance. The day is being commemorated in Uganda under the theme Restoring Integrity in Public Service, Regaining Citizens' Trust in the Anti-Corruption Fight. This theme was adopted because Uganda is experiencing increased episodes of grand and sometimes what is called syndicated corruption, such as we have had in the past the pension scam, the scam on the construction of Mukono Katosi Road, the scams that we heard about from the UNRA Commission of Inquiry. Those are some of the highlights of this anti-corruption fight. And such corruption scandals reflect deteriorating integrity in the public service.
Right over there, Lady Justice, and I'm sorry, I will request you to put a peg on the ground right there. You've done an incredible job in giving us the history of how we come to 9th of December as International Anti-Corruption Day, with, of course, the ratification from the UN structures and all that. You've given to us the mind-boggling statistics of how $1 trillion is, taken in bribes across the world and in developing countries. Over or close to 5% of the national GDPs in developing countries, we steal more than 10 times our development assistance funds, and this is mind-boggling. Uganda certainly is no exception. However, and that's where we will start our conversation, we have perhaps in more than enough supply anti-corruption agencies. There is your office, there is the law, the PPD Act, there is the Auditor General's Office, the oversight committees in Parliament that are anti-corruption in their nature of work. There are slogans and mantras, zero tolerance to corruption, being sung every single day by different shades of political opinion. There is an anti-corruption court running a circuit at the level of the High Court, and yet we continue to stare corruption in its ugly face every single day. One would want to ask from your side, is this battle anywhere close to a start, let alone even finish?
It started long ago, when the commitment was made by ratifying the Convention Against Corruption, the UN Convention Against Corruption. Now that convention has certain things it requires states parties to do. And Uganda has done most of those things. We are supposed to put in place legislation. We have an abundance of legislation to fight corruption. We are supposed to put in place bodies to fight corruption. We have the bodies to fight corruption. What don't we have? You know, for us to be able to stem the tide of corruption, in order for us to stop it in its tracks, we need commitment. Now that commitment should not be just the commitment of the anti-corruption agencies. We need the commitment of the public, we need the commitment of government, we need the commitment of everybody, you, the media, the civil society organizations, everybody has got to be committed. But on the part of the anti-corruption agencies, I think we operate at less than 50%.